good evening, and welcome to our Wednesday night Bible study while we are out taking a break up until after the first of the year. And we're excited to be studying through the fruits of the Spirit. Tonight, it has fallen to me to look at long suffering and kindness. When I think about what Paul is actually doing here, he's trying to get the church in Galatia to understand the importance of sanctification through the Spirit and how it's important for us as believers to understand that through our sanctification, God has equipped us and given us what we need in order that we may be able to live successful Christian lives. He offsets all of the works of the flesh. And he lets us know that because there are warfares in our life, situations we have to deal with, difficult hardships that we have to go through, God has given us a spirit, which is the Holy Spirit, to be able to equip us to be able to deal with the things in life that we find ourselves confronted with. And so in the book of Galatians, the 5th chapter, and verse 22, we find the fruit of the Spirit recorded. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law." Tonight, as we study for just a few minutes, I'd like for us to talk briefly about long-suffering. When we think about long suffering, we must understand that it is an attitude that we have within our life. The way we live our lives in the midst of trouble, in the midst of difficulty, and in the midst of hardship, whether we endure or whether we give in, and whether we have patience in order to handle our difficulty or not. Long suffering is a fruit of the Spirit that characterizes the fact that the Spirit has given it to us and not something that we work toward or acquire, but something that God says, because you are my child, because you belong to me, I will give you the ability to be long-suffering in all of the situations of life that you find yourself confronted with. And patience sometimes is a very difficult thing to have. Most of the times it's difficult. Well, let me change that. All the time it's hard to be patient. And it's really hard to be long-suffering, especially when you're having to deal with something that someone has done to you that you didn't like, that was something that you felt like was an attack on your personality, on your character, or who you are and what you are all about. And then the Spirit then makes you long suffering with that person, knowing that they don't deserve it, but yet you give it to them anyway. And so when we look at long suffering, it is a character that is produced by the Spirit of God in the believers that God gives to the believer. And I'm thankful to God for the spirit of long suffering in my life. Because if it wasn't for long suffering in my life, then there would be a lot of people that I would hate, I would dislike, that I would want to have vengeance on. Without long suffering, I would find myself involved in the works of the darkness or the works of the flesh. And in the works of the flesh, there are two of them in verse 20 of the same chapter that I believe long suffering especially works on, and that is contentiousness, angrily lashing out and angrily being involved in arguments. Instead of having long suffering in the midst of your life and patiently dealing with whatever you're having to deal with whatever comes your way. And so long suffering will offset contentiousness, and it will offset self ambitions and dissensions that we find ourselves involved in. Self-ambitions are often a part of our life when we don't get what we want right away. we find ourselves getting involved in our selfish ambitions. And so long suffering taps in to help us to deal with our selfish ambitions. And then our dissensions, when we find ourselves involved in arguments, and we find ourselves involved in strife and stressful situations with others, then long suffering has its greatest impact. But I believe that long suffering also leads into our kindness. When you are able to be long suffering, it will develop within your life a level of kindness that nothing else will really be able to develop in the midst of your life. And kindness is a wonderful thing. I don't know about you, but I love kind people. I love to see people who are kind involved in their acts and their activities and the things that they are doing in life. Kindness just has a way of being a blessing to us in the midst of our life. Kindness being a fruit of the Spirit that is also a part of our character. It's also a part of our makeup. Not something that we work on, but it's because the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit of God, lives in us and changes us and makes us who God would have us to be. That kindness then comes into our life and makes a difference for us. I don't know about you, but I'm thankful for all the kind people that I've had in my life. People who have been gracious to me and merciful to me in spite of myself. People who have loved me even in spite of my doing wrong throughout the years of my life. Kindness is very important in order to make the world go around and in order to make the world a better place to live in. It takes kind people who are willing to do what God would have them to do. You see, kindness is the quality of being friendly. Kindness is being generous and considerate toward others. There's nothing like kindness to really be able to pull a person out of a situation where they are burdened, where they are depressed, when they're down in life, and someone comes along and starts to show them kindness. Kindness is one of our greatest tools in order to fight the spiritual warfares that we have in the midst of our lives. Even when we find ourselves going through struggle, if we can find within our hearts a measure of kindness to show to other people, it will pull us out of that defunct situation. It will pull us out of a situation where we are in despair. Something about kindness that gives us the ability to fight and to be able to be involved in warfare where God is able to use our lives. It's spiritual warfare. That's what the fruit of the Spirit is really all about. To be able to offset the works of the darkness so that then we might usher in the things of God and make the world a better place to live in. Kindness, long suffering are a blessing in the midst of our lives. Why don't you do all you can to be long suffering with others in your life? You know somebody right now who deserves, who maybe doesn't deserve, but who needs your long suffering. Be long suffering with them and make a difference for them. There are others who need your kindness and who may just be waiting for you to show them a little kindness so that they can come out of whatever difficult situation they find themselves in. Kindness and long suffering will bless the lives of others, but while you are blessing the lives of others, you will also bless your life when you show some kindness and you show some long suffering. God bless you. I hope you've enjoyed this little tidbit, this 10 minutes of study. Join in next week as we follow through with the fruits of the Spirit. Next week, you'll be hearing goodness and faithfulness. God bless you. Have a great evening, and the Lord be with you and keep you.